Hi, my name is Chris Melnick and I'm a realtor in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Today, I'm going to talk about mini homes. First, to clear up confusion for people out of the area, you may know these as trailers or mobile homes in trailer parks, but we call them mini homes and mini home communities here in Nova Scotia. So when you think of mini homes, you may be thinking of something like this, when new ones can look like this. The whole point of you clicking on this video is because you're probably interested in buying one. So I'm going to go over why you should and shouldn't buy one. First, the most important distinction to make when talking about mini homes is whether it's on owned land or leased land. If it's on owned land, then you could just think of it like a regular home in that respect. The only difference is that the whole structure was trucked in. Whereas, if the mini home is on leased land, like in a land lease mini home community, you pay to rent the land. This is usually about $300 to $400 a month. One thing you have to remember about these mini home communities is that the experience is very much a combination of ownership and rental. What I mean by this is that you own the mini home and you can do what you want with the interior of it, but you have to abide by the rules in the community. These can limit the type and size of pets, what you do on the lot, your ability to rent it out to somebody else, and even the age of the residents. There's often an interview process with the superintendent too, where they can even ask for criminal records. Some people find this too invasive and restrictive, whereas some people come especially for this because they want the peace and quiet. And at the end of the day, the rules are in place for everyone's mutual enjoyment. You won't be kept awake because of neighbors playing loud music. A well-run community will make sure of that. With the lot fees, it of course includes the ability to have the home on the land, the plowing and maintenance of the road, the use of the communal sewer system, and sometimes water. You would have to pay all other typical utilities, but you're also responsible for the associated property taxes with your lot. Now, this can seem a bit odd since you don't actually own it, but that's the way it is. Now, on to the actual structure. Mini homes are built the way they are to make it possible to transport them. This means they're limited in width and length. Two of them can be put together to make a double wide though. Older mini homes could have had panel walls and ceilings like an RV instead of drywall, but newer ones appear nearly identical to a typical home from the inside and out. Mini homes, especially double wide, can be very nice, but can also be relatively expensive to buy new. Think upwards of $300,000 for a 1,700 square foot double wide. With newer floor plans, modern finishings, and vaulted ceilings and giant windows, they can be completely different to what many people may have thought of when they think of mini homes or trailers. Another nuance of mini homes is the foundation or a lack of foundation. Many of them are effectively put on gravel pads, just like railroads, that are leveled and then raised with blocks, so there's a crawl space underneath the unit. This is the cheapest option. A downside of this, especially if the pad was not made properly, is that the mini home may settle unevenly, causing cracks in the interior and meaning it may need to be re-leveled. This can cost thousands of dollars to fix each time properly. The alternative is a permanent foundation, which is either a typical concrete one or with screw piles, which is also what they use for decks. Now, short of something catastrophic happening, you don't need to have these types of foundations re-leveled, but they can be an extra $15,000 more. Now we'll talk about insurance. A mini home built prior to 1980 will be expensive to insure. Think upwards of $4,000 a year and can take weeks to get set up. Insurance companies often have policies on those older homes that just replace them if something happens. Now, with homes built between 1980 and 95, it's not as expensive, but still pricey. And a mini home newer than 95 would have insurance rates in line with the typical home of the same size. Now we'll talk about financing. In short, it's just more complicated. If you own the land, but it's on blocks and a gravel bed, the banks will be concerned that they could lend you the money to buy it, and then you just move it away and stop paying the mortgage so that they would have nothing to foreclose on. Because of this, you will have much fewer choices if you go this route. Whereas if you own the land and it's on a permanent foundation, it's pretty straightforward, similar to a normal home. Even though you could still move it away, it's a lot of work, so the banks aren't too concerned. If you own the home but not the land, like in a land lease community, financing will be much different because it'll be a chattel loan instead of a typical mortgage. The fact that it's on someone else's land means it's more risky for the lender, meaning it can be more expensive in the form of higher interest rates and will be something that fewer lenders will take on. Next, I'll talk about resale. In short, it won't be as good as a typical home. Even though new mini homes are very nice, they can still have a negative reputation. With the new generation of mini homes, that reputation is likely to change, but it's going to take some time. And since the lending requirements are often more challenging and insurance potentially more expensive, there can be fewer buyers. So far, it may seem like I'm casting mini homes in a negative light, but that's not my intention. They just have more nuances that you need to be aware of. So here are some positives. First, they're usually the cheapest option for the quality of home you're getting. And mini homes often come with 10-year warranties. Next, if you're thinking of a new construction conventional home, that'll take at least 10 months to build at the time of this video, whereas an in-stock mini home can be set up on already serviced land within months. If you plan to live on rural land further away, it can be extremely challenging to even find contractors willing to work in those areas to build a typical new construction home, whereas nearly all of the construction work was already done on the mini home beforehand, so you'll have a much easier time setting up your home. Next, the very fact that the home is movable can be a big benefit. For example, if you want to live in a remote place with new construction because it's your dream, but are concerned with resale, see my video on buying land, a mini home could be a great solution, because if when you plan to sell, that area couldn't support the sale of a newer mini home, it could be sold separately and moved away. Then you would just go ahead and sell that serviced land. Next, mini homes can be 900 to 1800 square feet for double wides, and sometimes that's all the space a person really wants. Because of this, a typical resale home can be just too big, and the extra space a problem rather than a benefit. Finally, in mini home communities, some people just prefer that lifestyle. They're often well-mannered, clean, and organized. Also, since the mini home is all on one level, it can be great for people with mobility issues. It's often seen as something similar to a condo, but you can still have a garden with the outdoor space. The homes are also closer together, which can be great if you like chatting with your neighbors. For these reasons, many elderly people and retired people are just flocking to mini home communities. In conclusion, depending on what your goals are in life, a mini home may be the right option for you. This can be especially true if you're looking to live in a more remote location or as a retirement option. Like always, I hope you've got some value out of this video. My contact information is in the description. Goodbye.